What's the best Wi-Fi name you've seen? I caused a small family panic when I named it Disconnected. The most notable, and my least favorite, I can hear you masturbating. I lived in an apartment with thin walls. I was really self-conscious after that. My favorite was, Mom, click here for internet, lock-free Wi-Fi, malware, X. When my brother was in the Air Force Reserve, I went to his house one day and say his Wi-Fi name was LAN of the Free. Silence of the LAN is a top contender for me. Password. The password was Wi-Fi. Go back to California when I had just moved to Texas and had CA plates on my car still. It burns when I pee. My favorite is it's on the back of the router. Wu-Tang LAN. Is this the Krusty Krab? The password was no, this is Patrick. You kids get off my LAN. 5G coronavirus test number 1 strength 500%. The best Wi-Fi name that I found led me on an elaborate adventure. It was called Help Girl Kidnapped Floor 9 App 30C. On the door of that apartment was a post-it note that instructed me to go to the basement, where there was a stash of free marshmallows. Troy and Abed in the modem. House LA Nister. Mine is Panic. At the Cisco LAN rover. Tell my Wi-Fi love her. 5 grams tower signal. Drives Karen's crazy. Scream penis for password. This LAN is my LAN. Chance the router. I'm a fan of Bill Y. The Science Fi. Protected CEX. And Unprotected CEX. For a British electronics store called CEX. My neighbor had 2 bros chillin' in a hot tub. Hide yo kids, hide yo Wi-Fi. A Wi-Fi has no name. Pretty fly for a Wi-Fi. We're not allowed to have our own routers on campus. So I named mine AT&T Mobile Hotspot. Totally safe Wi-Fi. No spyware. Promise and let it open. Without password. Abraham Linksys. My dad named ours Nacho Wi-Fi because we had neighbors who moved in. They had kids our age and I was hanging out with one of them. When they said they had Wi-Fi, I said, oh how, and they said that no one came by. But they still managed to get some from somewhere. He didn't know where. Turns out his parents were using our Wi-Fi and not telling them because they didn't want them telling us and us telling our parents. Us being me and my little brother. My dad said the Wi-Fi had been slower. I told him what the kid said and he immediately locked the Wi-Fi. We didn't know there wasn't a password set on it. So then came the dad joke Wi-Fi name. Nacho Wi-Fi. For those who don't get it, not your Wi-Fi. Nacho Wi-Fi. Lord of the Pings. Password Legolas. For the longest time, I had my phone's hotspot name as Police Surveillance Tricycle. Turns out, it's a good way to get some people paranoid and have others amused over the whole thing when having it active during classes. Not the Wi-Fi you're looking for. Skynet Global Defense Network FBI van. I liked mine. I have a dual band router with 4 GHz and 5 GHz. They're named Bees. Martin Router King. My neighbors in college had one called Uncle Touchy's Puzzle Basement. Wi-Fi when it's clear we have such a strong connection. Crack Shack, which wasn't exactly creative, but we later found out that the owners were arrested for dealing drugs. It hurts when I pee. Yell the N-word for password. Dundermith LAN. The Promised LAN. It hurts when I pee. My family were staying in Philadelphia for a couple days and were staying in an Airbnb apartment. One Wi-Fi said I know apartment number is an illegal Airbnb. Other were just things like potato salad and random shit. A neighbor of mine had theirs called 2 girls. 1 router. Mine is Aperture Science. I figure people who get it will chuckle. And those who don't, will just think someone has a business out of their place. Cheeky smiley face. I generally pair it with naming one of my electronics GLaDOS 2. Edit autocorrect typo. OBW LAN Kenobi. Your SSI dis bad and you should feel bad. Epstein didn't kill himself. That's currently mine. Porn access point. Connecting. Chipotle guessed there's no Chipotle nearby. I install internet etc. for a living. Best one I ever came up with was for the Delta Phi sorority. Delta Wi-Fi. They loved it. Hogwarts, and the password was Aloha Mora. Who the hell is stealing my Wi-Fi? A Senao telephone, which translates to, the password is the phone number. Turns out the password was in fact the phone number. 8D *****. Password is baby batter. Our neighbors was one wiener and two pussies. They had a dachshund and two cats. Fire Nation, because my folks are always fighting. Used to live in a rough neighborhood with lots of addicts. Husband set ours to surveillance fan number 1. One does not simply connect to my Wi-Fi. My old neighbor who, as you might imagine, didn't let me use their Wi-Fi. So I had to take out my own contract. My phone's hotspot is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I am under your bed and I look at you while you are asleep. Dad. Click here. Martin Router King was at a church and some neighbor had Jesus has left the building. My dad's a huge fan of the Matrix and calls every router we've ever had an Nebuchadnezzar. That's what she SSID. Benjamin Frank LAN and Vladimir Routin. One of my neighbors a while ago had a 2, 4 GHC and 5 GHC setup that went, did you come in this chicken? No, it's a clean bird. I mean mine is LAN solo. Which is pretty great. FBI surveillance fan too. My brother used this all the time. One day we're working with this guy who was known to all the co-workers as being a dealer. Well, one morning get to work and he asked if anyone could turn on hotspot cause he didn't have data. My brother said sure, so he turns it on and this guy's face turns white. He hopes in his car and doesn't show up the next day. So after a few unanswered calls and texts he finally shows up at my house. He's freaking out saying the FBI is after him and that they showed up to work the other day. When we asked what he meant, he told us that had their Wi-Fi named FBI Surveillance Van 2. I just about died laughing and it took him a long time to get over that. Lol. The password. I went to a restaurant and they didn't have internet. I went to a near store to buy something. And the password was in the Wi-Fi name. A really happy moment and happy crying face. Pretty fly for a Wi-Fi. Bitch, get ya own Wi-Fi. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. 5 grams tower test. There is no Wi-Fi. That bar owner was a legend. Connecto Patronum. Mordor. It was password protected. One does not simply log into Mordor. We can hear you having sex or scream dick for the password. My DH is a Star Wars fanatic. I'm logged onto the Death Star. Sex dungeon, a vacation home my family rented out. We don't have Wi-Fi. Password was I don't know. Hilarious when anyone asked him how to get on his Wi-Fi. It was like a vaudeville routine. For a house with 6 female roommates. 12 boobs. Free Wi-Fi. It was not free. My guest network is named Wi-Fi Can't We Be Friends? Uncle Touchy's Naked Puzzle Basement. FBI Van or Mortimeti, an insult in Romanian translating literally to, your mother's dead. I don't think we have Wi-Fi here. Stop looking at me naked. I use Bilbo T. Baggins as my 5 GHC network and Froto T. Baggins for my 2. 4 GHC. Shout the N-word for password. This was the name of a hotspot in my school dorm. 3 people did it at once. Police fan number 2. My SSID is F Society. I like Mr. Robot. Mine when I moved into my friend's house was not a meth lab. We lived in Muncie, in the meth capital of the state, and had the police knock on our door once. My sister and I had 2 girls one Wi-Fi at one point lol. Our home Wi-Fi is Lord Voldemodem. No regrets. Wu-Tang LAN. Right now the most creative ones are, a pretty fly for a Wi-Fi, and it hurts when I pee. 5G_COVID-19_ test was on a 5 GHz channel. Mine is FBI Surveillance Van number 201, my apartment number. Hide yo kids, hide yo Wi-Fi. You shall not pass without password is password. I got RCMP Van number 3. Loading. Yell penis for password. Delightful for apartment buildings or dorm rooms. Yell N asterisk 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 R for the password was one I've seen. HTTP error 418. Slow shitty internet. Someone in my neighborhood named theirs Gates Foundation 5G Tower Test 2, 400% power. It's driving the Karens crazy because there are no towers of any kind anywhere near my area. The password is password. Sex. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Lan Kenobi. Hack this if you can. Oh, and also someone made Wi-Fi names in order to tell a story. Less than story greater than. Less than second part greater than. And so on. Edit. Me and my friend also used 4 hotspots in total to make Death Star uplink less than 1, 2, 3, 4 greater than. And we also copied the name of our school Wi-Fi so no one had any clue which one to use lol. I've seen FBI surveillance van. My dad also named our Wi-Fi during the 2016 election as Hillary's email server. 21 internets. I fucked Jenny, landlord's wife. I had a friend who had that. Hated his landlord, but the landlord couldn't find out which tenant was broadcasting it. The friend had it hooked up to a battery so the landlord couldn't cut the power to find out whose it was.